We want to move on. I guess you were saying that there's not a lot in terms of entertainment right now, but I'm sure anyone that's listening to this, anyone in general, has probably tuned into the MJ documentary. It was
The Last
episodes
Dance.
The Last Dance. It was episodes 7 and 8 this weekend. Yep,
Hmm.
this Sunday. I watched 7 last night, and I watched the rest of 8 today. I thought it was very interesting, and I'll get off on the foot of your topic or your professional opinion on this first, because I have some stuff I wanted to say, but I figure you can lead us off on this one.
The two best episodes of the series, in my opinion,
Mm.
without a doubt, the two best episodes so far in the series, which is saying a lot because I thought the Dennis Rodman and Phil Jackson episodes were great. I thought these two were awesome. I thought they were easily the two most emotional
Yeah.
episodes, and I don't know, it also kind of shows that not a lot's changed between 1993 and today, that it's still pretty toxic out there. I mean, can you imagine today if somebody's father died and they turned around and said it's because of the kid's gambling problem? Bizarre to me, but I thought it was extremely emotional. I thought it was a good look inside, who Jordan was. I mean, all time story. What was the guy's name? The guy from the Bullets who he just made the story up about after he dropped 36 on him. He
Yeah.
just made that story up about him being like nice game. Mike completely made it up so he could turn around and just humiliate the guy. That was
That's
very
the thing
funny.
about Jordan. That's the thing about Jordan, man. Like I think you were saying on the last episode, Jordan's the type of guy, and I was thinking about this too while I was watching. I said, Jerry's right. Jerry's correct on this. Jordan is the type of guy where he is so self motivated, but he needs that extra push to where the coach of the Seattle Supersonics at the time when they went out to dinner, he didn't say hi to him. And to anyone else, that would have been a choice interaction. But to Jordan, he's like, all right, well, now I'm going to internalize that and I'm going to use it to torch this entire. If you talk about Gary Payton, you know, like it's just stuff like that. And, you see Jordan laughing and watching the tablet and he's like, he didn't get one over on me. Like that was a laugh, but it got to him. Jordan's just that type of guy where everything needs to be competitive. So I thought it was really a really good look into his mental and his, like you said, the emotional side. I had no idea his father died. Rest in peace to him. I didn't think necessarily it was the best two episodes of the series, but I thought it fleshed Jordan out very very well. I will say that.
Well, well, the one thing too, just going back to I mean, the guy holds grudges, right?
Yeah.
And he still clearly holds them to this day, whether it's with Isaiah Thomas or whoever. But I think it all translates to what he said last episode when they were like, "Does Michael Jordan have a gambling problem?" He was like, "No, I have a competitive problem, but I don't have a gambling problem." And I think that's he has he's ultra competitive. Everything is a competition for him, and it still is. And I don't know, he's just I mean, number one list of athletes that I just want to spend a day with. Michael Jordan's easily at the top after watching this. I mean, he was near the top before, but he's easily at the top now. He just seems like a fun guy to be around when he's in the mood. Because as Scotty Burrell said too, like on the court he was a jerk, but he was a
He
fun
was a
guy
good
to be
guy off.
around
Yeah.
off the court. Um, but yeah, I thought these two were the best episodes in my opinion because it gave us our best look at Jordan because that's what it's all about, right? Like
Yeah.
it's fun to learn about Rodman and Pippen and Jordan and I mean Phil. And that Pippen story last night about him refusing to go into the game when they
Right.
drew up the play for Joni Kukoc,
I wanted to get your
I
opinion on
thought
that. Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting insight. But in the end, it is about Michael Jordan, and I thought last night, between the comeback, it kind of showed he was a little human. I don't know. I thought these two were the best at just exposing like who Michael Jordan, not exposing, but giving us a look at who Michael Jordan actually is.
Right. So three things that I wanted to bring up after you said that, and you highlighted a lot of the stuff that I wanted to say personally. Right. You had the gambling through line, which I thought really didn't need to be in the documentary. If I'm being 100% honest with you, that whole through line where they had the woman from NBC Sports talking about how his father's death, they hinted at why it was so asinine that people at the time and media at the time, which they still are, were so vicious with Mike. But then they bring on this woman from NBC Sports and she said, well, the timing was just really suspect. I thought that was really just not necessary at all to
Well,
keep
I
that in
think
there.
I think that was the point though, is to say like it was so asinine, but nothing's changed because she still kind of is like, well, you don't know for sure. It's like you do know for
Yeah,
sure,
you do. Yeah, no, there's no correlation there. Stop fishing. It's
right? But like
ridiculous, man.
I thought that was actually a good thing because it showed that it was so stupid at the time. and people are still stupid enough to right now be like, oh, you never know. It's like, no, you do know it didn't happen.
Yeah, I thought also that this particularly episode, I believe it was 8, did a good job at showcasing, and a little bit of episode 7 when you talked about Scottie Pippen not coming off the bench. These two episodes did a great job of not only fleshing out Jordan, but that that Bulls team, because when they were talking about how dominant that 95-96 Bulls squad was, how they had a winning percentage of 870. Like, that's ridiculous. I think that's just above the Golden State Warriors, which was another statistic they put out there. This team was like one of the best of all time. And then also, going back to the Scottie Pippen thing, when he didn't come off the bench, I think that could have been just attributed to him, being in the leading position. When you have a guy like Jordan on that squad, and you're not getting a lot of, I mean, sure, you could be considered, I'm sure Scottie is, as being Jordan's number 2. You're not necessarily getting enough or as much press or praise as you might want. Then you're suddenly thrust into that position. You're like, hey, listen, I've got a lot more leverage, and then he kind of felt that leverage being taken away again because another guy was getting the shot instead of him. I think it was just more a temper tantrum. I don't think it was indicative of Scottie's personality, and obviously he apologized afterwards, but it was interesting to see.
Well, one thing too that I don't think the documentary highlighted enough is like, yeah, Scottie Pippen was at the time a top 5 player in the league, and he obviously doesn't get the respect he should get now because when you talk about the Bulls, you don't talk about Scottie, you talk about Jordan. But I think one thing too that the documentary didn't highlight enough in this specific episode was the fact that last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, when they had the whole Tony Kukoc thing with the Dream Team, right? There was a little bit of beef there, right? Like, it wasn't Tony Kukoc's fault, but they were kind of trying to get out Krause, and Scottie especially took a special offense to that. The fact that Jerry Krause was so into Tony Kukoc and calling him the future of the Bulls while he was still there, like he took actual offense to that. But now moving forward, Phil Jackson in the first playoff run that Michael Jordan's not there is drawing up plays so that Tony Kukoc could take the game-winning shot instead of Scottie Pippen, who was obviously better than Tony Kukoc, but Scottie felt slighted by Tony Kukoc immediately, and then Phil draws up the winning play. I think that had a lot to do with it too. So I don't know if maybe I'm wrong, but I thought the documentary probably could have flashed back to that too, because some people might not be thinking about that time like, oh yeah, that's the guy that they legitimately hated while they were playing against him in the Olympics. Now he's taking the game-winning shots against Scottie Pippen. I don't know. And I think I was watching SportsCenter afterwards, and they had, Scott Van Pelt had Michael Wilbon and Jack McMullen on, and I forget which one of them raised the point, and they were like, well, what if Michael Jordan done if Phil drew up the play for
would have said hell no
instead? And number one, he would have said hell no, and number two, it didn't happen because Michael Jordan was not there. I also just think that would have never happened in general. But
no, definitely not.
But I think Michael Jordan would have been like, no, that's not going to happen. I think Michael Jordan would have got his way, but
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
He's Michael Jordan
talking about what Scottie Pippen did 25 years ago. He apologized for it. I don't know why, but.
Well, they briefly touched on it, so it was interesting to see. It was interesting to see how, like, I think, and it plays into also Jordan not being there. And, the episodes were talking mainly about Jordan. And I think episodes 9 and 10, and I want to get this take from you after I get in on this a little bit here. I think episodes 9 and 10 is just going to be the collaboration of every single story arc, the finalization, and just mashing everything. I think it's going to be an epic conclusion. I think we're going to see all the storylines, because that's kind of what I've seen so far, is we get a segment of every person's kind of, their deal at the time. You got Dennis Rodman, you got Scottie Pippen, you got Jordan. I think we're gonna see everything come together. Obviously, The Last Dance, and just finalize. So I'm really excited for those last episodes. But I just really quick wanted to say, I think it speaks, and the reason I like these episodes is just because, like you said, they fleshed Jordan out so well, and they fleshed the team out when Jordan wasn't there as well. It really showed not only the emotional side of Jordan, but the side of Jordan where he's not there, and you see how everyone is affected when he isn't on the floor, and when he's not in the locker room.
Yeah, I also just want to say where I see this going is like, so we've kind of gone season by season from when Jordan was drafted until where we're at now, which is after the first championship, the second three-peat, the 96 championship.
Right.
And we've also kind of sped through the 97-98 season, but what I think is going to happen is that the next episode is going to go into that second championship as well as catch us up to the finals. and then the last episode, because let's be honest, this documentary is called The Last Dance. We haven't really had much about the 97-98 season yet. I think that last episode is going to be solely focused on the 97-98 season. We're going to catch up to the finals, and then also I think we're going to see a little bit of the aftermath too. I don't know if it'll talk too much about Jordan on the Wizards because that's not what this is about, but
Yeah.
I think we'll talk about the falling out of, Phil doesn't come back, Michael retires again.